Demi manning the camera and his family all around him.
At March 19th, 2026, Bruce Willis turned 71 years old. His wife Emma posted one photograph to mark the day. In it, he is sitting on a sofa, wearing a black sweater over a white t-shirt and an orange baseball cap, smiling. Not at the camera, but at something just outside the frame. Behind him, there is an ocean and mountains and light. He looks peaceful. He looks like himself. And the reason that single image broke hearts across the world is because of everything it does not show. The disease that has been slowly taking him, the family that has been quietly carrying the weight of it, and the woman standing behind the lens who wrote in the caption that she has times of sadness and grief every day and that she is really feeling it today on his birthday. Here is the full story. Everything in this video comes directly from verified reporting by People, Parade, Hello Magazine, The Mirror, CNN, IB Times UK, Entertainment Now, VarietyToday.com, the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration, and public statements made by Emma Hemming Willis and Bruce Willis's family. We are not making clinical or medical determinations of any kind. All medical information in this video reflects what has been publicly confirmed by the Willis family and their medical teams. This is a respectful, factual, and compassionate account of a real family navigating something that millions of families around the world are also living through right now. That is the spirit in which this video is made. Start with who Bruce Willis is, because it matters to understand not just the man, but the particular weight of watching this man go through this. Bruce Willis was born on March 19, 1955, in Idar Oberstein, West Germany, to an American soldier father and a German mother. He grew up in Carneys Point, New Jersey, worked as a private detective and a harmonica player and a bartender before landing his first major role in the television series Moonlighting in 1985. He won 2 Emmy Awards for that role, one of them in 1987, the same year he released his debut album, and the same year he married Demi Moore. He was 22 years old and had a childhood stutter that he worked through by performing on stage and in class. That stutter would come back in one of the cruelest ironies of his later life, but we will get to that. Moonlighting became Die Hard. Die Hard became one of the most beloved action franchises in cinema history. By the mid-1990s, Bruce Willis was one of the most recognizable human beings on the planet. He was John McClane. He was the voice in the first Unbreakable. He was the kid who sees dead people's father in The Sixth Sense. He starred in Pulp Fiction and The Fifth Element and Armageddon and 12 Monkeys and Moonrise Kingdom. He had 5 daughters. Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah with Demi Moore, and Mabel and Evelyn with Emma Hemming Willis, whom he married in March 2009. He was, in the fullest sense of the word, larger than life, loud in rooms, generous with strangers, the man at every party who was still dancing at the end of the night. The first sign that something was wrong came gradually and quietly, the way these things usually do. Emma Hemming Willis told Town and Country magazine in October 2024 that it began with changes in his speech patterns. Because he had a childhood stutter, she initially attributed the change to that. There was no dramatic moment, no clear turning point, just a slow and confusing drift. She has said publicly that she and Bruce went through a period where she thought their marriage was under serious strain, that the behavioral and communication changes FTD causes are so early and so subtle that they often look from the inside like a relationship in trouble rather than a brain disease progressing. That is one of the most devastating things about frontotemporal dementia. It can erode a marriage before it is ever identified as a medical condition. In March 2022, the family released a public statement. Bruce Willis was stepping away from his acting career after being diagnosed with aphasia, a language disorder caused by brain damage that affects a person's ability to communicate, to understand language, to find the right words. The statement was signed by Emma, Demi, Rumor, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn, and it said that this was a really challenging time for our family, and that they were so appreciative of the love, compassion, and support they had received. At the time, most people understood the announcement as a career retirement. What they did not know yet was what was underneath. In February 2023, the family released a second statement. The aphasia diagnosis had evolved. Bruce Willis had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, FTD. The statement, published in full by the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration, said, "While this is painful, it is a relief to finally have a clear diagnosis." It described FTD as a cruel disease that many of us have never heard of and that can strike anyone. It said that for people under 60, FTD is the most common form of dementia, and that because getting the diagnosis can take years, it is likely much more prevalent than we know. And it said that today there are no treatments for the disease. That last sentence is the one worth sitting with. No treatments. Not inadequate treatments. Not treatments that slow progression but do not stop it. No treatments. Frontotemporal dementia attacks the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain, the regions responsible for personality, behavior, language, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Unlike Alzheimer's, which primarily impacts memory, FTD changes who a person is before it takes away what they know. It can alter behavior. It can remove language. It can make a person unrecognizable in personality while their physical health remains relatively intact. Medications that help with Alzheimer's do not work for FTD and may actually make symptoms worse. And because the early signs so often mimic depression, marital problems, stress, or personality shifts, the average time between the first symptoms and a confirmed diagnosis can be years. Bruce Willis, in retrospect, had almost certainly been living with the disease's early stages before anyone knew what they were looking at. What has emerged in the months and years since the diagnosis is a picture of a family doing something genuinely rare in Hollywood, telling the truth about what this is like, not in a controlled, media-trained way, but in a real one. Emma Hemming Willis has been the primary voice of that truth, and she has been unflinching in a way that takes real courage. In a January 2026 episode of the podcast Conversations with Cam, Emma revealed something that stopped a lot of people. Bruce does not know he has dementia. She explained the neurological condition behind this, anosognosia, a condition that occurs with FTD and certain other forms of dementia, in which the brain literally cannot identify what is happening to it. It is not denial. It is not stubbornness. It is the disease itself preventing the person from connecting the dots. Emma told the podcast, Bruce never tapped in. He never connected the dots that he has this disease. And then she said something that was both heartbreaking and strangely tender. She called it the blessing and the curse. The blessing because he is not suffering the awareness of his own decline. The curse because he cannot be a participant in the decisions being made around him. She also addressed what she meant when she told Diane Sawyer on ABC News in August 2025 that Bruce is still very much present in his body. He still recognizes her. He still recognizes his children. She is careful to explain why, and the explanation matters for anyone who still conflates all dementia with Alzheimer's. She told the Conversations with Cam podcast, when someone says to me, does Bruce still know who you are? Yes, he does, because he doesn't have Alzheimer's. He has FTD. He has a way of connecting with me and our children that might not be the same as the way you would connect with your loved one. But it's still very beautiful and meaningful. It's just different. You just learn how to adapt. What is also happening, and what Emma has been honest about, is the language. She said to Diane Sawyer, the language is going, and we have learned to adapt, and we have a way of communicating with him which is just a different way. For the man who parlayed a childhood stutter into one of the most recognized voices in global cinema, the man whose one-liners became catchphrases, whose charisma was as much in how he talked as in what he said, the loss of language is a particular kind of grief. Emma has acknowledged that grief directly. She told CNN in a birthday reflection that she has times of sadness every day and grief every day. That she is raising two daughters, Mabel, who is now 13, and Evelyn, who is 11, in the middle of this. That when people tell her she is so strong, she wants them to know she is not given a choice. Earlier this year, Bruce moved out of the family home. This decision was made to allow him to receive specialized care in a setting tailored to his needs, while also allowing Mabel and Evelyn to maintain some version of a normal routine at home. Emma has been explicit about how difficult that decision was. She visits frequently, often going for breakfast and returning for dinner several nights each week. When critics online suggested the move was wrong, she was equally direct. She said that those people do not get a say. She is his wife, she is his caregiver, and she is making decisions based on what is best for him, not on what looks best from the outside. The last confirmed public sighting of Bruce Willis before his birthday was on March 10, 2026, 9 days before he turned 71. He was photographed riding in the passenger seat of an SUV in Studio City, California. He was not walking through an event or attending a premiere. He was riding in a car, in sunglasses, moving through the world quietly. That photograph, small and low stakes as it might appear, circulated widely because it is now what a Bruce Willis public appearance looks like. Not a red carpet, not a press junket, a car, a window, a glimpse, which is what makes March 19th so significant. Yesterday, on his 71st birthday, Emma Hemming Willis posted a photograph to Instagram. The photo showed Bruce seated on a sofa, smiling, not posed, not performing for the camera, just existing in a moment. He was wearing a black sweater over a white t-shirt and an orange baseball cap. Behind him, through what appears to be a window or an open space, you can see the ocean and mountains. He was not looking at the camera. He was looking at something to the side, something that made him smile that way. Emma's caption read, "Today we celebrate Bruce's birthday. This journey with frontotemporal dementia has opened my eyes to the realities so many families face. It is what inspired me to create the Emma and Bruce Willis Fund to raise awareness of FTD, support research, and stand beside the caregivers who carry so much every day." She asked followers that if they wanted to honor Bruce on his birthday, they could consider supporting the fund or another organization working in this space, or simply checking in on a caregiver. A small act of kindness that can mean so much. The response was immediate and genuine. Al Roker, the Today Show weatherman and himself a cancer survivor, commented simply, "That smile." Model Nicole Petrie wished Bruce and his family a wonderful day. Former talk show host Lisa Gibbons wrote, "Your path is so beautiful to watch. Happy birthday to the one who inspires it all, your remarkable husband Bruce." One commenter wrote, "Great picture of him." And Emma, in a reply that sounded nothing like a caregiver advocate and everything like a wife who misses her husband, wrote back, "Ain't he handsome?" Demi Moore also posted for Bruce's birthday, sharing what appeared to be a recent photograph of their first granddaughter, Luetta, who is the daughter of their oldest child, Rumer, and will be 3 years old next month. In the photo, Luetta is planting a kiss on her grandfather's cheek. The image was silent and said everything. Just 1 week before the birthday, on March 12th, Emma formally launched the Emma and Bruce Willis Fund for Dementia Research and Caregiver Support. She announced it while accepting the Susan Newhouse and Cy Newhouse Award of Hope at the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration's Hope Rising benefit. Her statement at that event said, "Our family's journey with frontotemporal dementia has opened my eyes to what so many families experience when someone they love is living with this disease. The uncertainty, the challenges, and the incredible strength of the caregivers who show up every day. This fund is our way of helping move things forward by raising FTD awareness, supporting promising research, and standing beside the caregivers who carry so much." The family has also confirmed that Bruce Willis's brain will be donated to science after his death. A decision reflecting the family's commitment to advancing research into a disease that currently has no treatment and no cure. The Willis family's decision to speak openly about all of this has already had measurable consequences beyond their own story. FTD was, before the 2023 announcement, largely unknown outside of medical communities and the families it had touched. The visibility that Bruce's diagnosis brought has driven a documented increase in public awareness around the condition, pushed more people toward organizations like the AFTD, and encouraged families dealing with unexplained behavioral and language changes in loved ones to seek diagnoses earlier. That advocacy did not happen because of a press strategy. It happened because a family told the truth when they did not have to. Here is what I want to leave you with, because there is a version of this story that gets told as tragedy and nothing else, and that is not the full picture. Bruce Willis is 71 years old today. He is living with a progressive and incurable disease. His language is declining. He no longer lives in the same home as his wife and 2 youngest daughters. He does not know he is sick, and he is, by every account from the people who love him most, still present, still smiling, still the person who fills a room, just differently now, still recognizable to his wife and his children, still a man with 5 daughters and a granddaughter who kisses him on the cheek. Still someone who inspires a woman who married him to look at a quiet photograph and write, "Ain't he handsome?" Emma Hemming Willis did not post that photo yesterday to generate sympathy. She posted it because it was his birthday and she loves him. The advocacy around it, the fund, the awareness, the caregiving message, came from a real place, the place of someone who has spent years figuring out how to carry something enormous with both grace and honesty, and who has decided that the best thing she can do with that weight is help others carry theirs. If you have a caregiver in your life, someone looking after a parent, a spouse, a sibling, anyone, Emma's ask yesterday was simple and real. Check in on them. Not a vague "how are you," but something specific. "Here is what I can do for you this week." That is what she asked for on her husband's birthday. It costs nothing and it means everything. If this kind of careful, compassionate, sourced breakdown is why you come here, subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a comment below. Tell me about someone in your life who has been touched by dementia. Tell me what you think of the way Emma has handled this. Tell me what Bruce Willis meant to you growing up. I read every single comment. I will see you in the next one.